Good morning. I am on my way to get some blood work done today. It is Friday, February 21st, and I had an appointment on the phone with my nurse practitioner. It's actually a new one. The one that I was working with for the last 2 years has moved on, I guess, so I was a little apprehensive, but she was lovely. So I'm sharing this because I've always been very open and honest and vulnerable about my mental health and stuff over the years. And if this helps someone, then maybe that serves a purpose. And I don't mind sharing it. So behind the scenes, I have been feeling rather stuck, lackluster, dull, flatlined. All of those things, and it's been ongoing for quite some time, and it's a long story, and I'll probably sit down and share it once I have more answers, but I've been struggling, and I called her, and I was basically kind of frantic, saying, I don't know what is wrong with me. Is it my IUD causing progesterone intolerance? Is it a hormonal imbalance? Is it perimenopause? Is it February? And we've played so much with my antidepressant. I'm on 10 milligrams of citalopram. We've played around with that. I have done therapy. I am currently I'm actually working with BetterHelp right now, which is exciting. And I've been doing therapy with them. So that's been helpful. But everything, my therapist through BetterHelp, has actually helped me. She said, if something physically is wrong with you, no amount of talk therapy is going to help. And so now I'm trying to get to the bottom of maybe what is physically going on with me. So I called her thinking mainly that the IUD was the problem that I had placed because I have fibroids and had anemia because of really heavy periods. Maybe this is too much information for some of you, but so I kind of went in thinking that was the issue, and almost immediately, she listened to me. She validated the fact that I'm not feeling right. I'm not feeling good. And she said, you are not on the right medication if you don't feel good. And she said, so we're going to do a whole bunch of blood tests. She's checking my thyroid, B12, vitamin D, blood sugar, insulin or something like that. Iron, did I say iron? A whole bunch. So she's basically checking everything. We're not checking hormones because there's no real point because they fluctuate and I have an IUD. So, a hormonal IUD. So, after saying all of that and, discussing all the blood work that she wants to start with, she has a feeling that it's probably the antidepressant that I'm on. And she wants to put me on the antidepressant that I have wanted to be on since the beginning. I have felt that would be the right one for me. And my nurse practitioner wanted to put me on a different one. So already I'm feeling so hopeful because I have looked up the symptoms or the side effects of the one I'm on. And it is pretty much spot on every single thing that I have been struggling with. Weight gain. Cannot lose the weight, bloating and water retention and swelling and puffiness, and my cholesterol has elevated, weight gain around the belly, which is unusual for me, just fatigue, low mood, no motivation, all of these things that I have been struggling with and feeling so flat for the last probably more than a year now, and it could just be the fact that I'm on the wrong medication. I really, really feel hopeful for the first time in a really long time. So today, hopefully we'll get some answers with the blood work. And then she said she would call me as soon as she got the blood work and then start the process of switching from one medication to the other. So we're going to taper off while introducing the new one. So we're not going cold turkey or anything like that. So I feel like there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and I feel so validated. And as much as I liked my nurse practitioner before, she was very kind, sweet, friendly. Well, actually, maybe not friendly. But she would hear me, but she was kind of minimizing the fact that I was struggling so much. And she didn't ignore it, but I feel like she didn't get aggressively helpful with it. I feel like she just would tweak my current medication rather than trying to say, maybe we should try a different medication. So I am feeling very hopeful that this could be the beginning of feeling better, because I have not been feeling like myself for the last 2 years. It definitely helped me in the beginning. It definitely, for the first 6 months, I would say it was really good. But I'm wondering if it, after 6 months, those side effects started kind of counteracting the positive effects. So me gaining weight and feeling sluggish and slow and tired, and the physical kind of side effects have taken their toll on my mental health. And I feel like they've kind of canceled each other out. Or not canceled each other out, but the side effects have canceled out any good that the drug was doing. So anyway, I have my Kobo, and I probably have a little bit of weight. I made an appointment, but they're always a little behind there. So anyway, I wanted to share this process because I feel like maybe it could help someone else if they're going through this. So here we go. I'm gonna get some answers. I'm so excited. I'm so hopeful that there's nothing big wrong, and it's just a little switcheroo that could help me out. So let's see. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so just like that, I'm done. It took I didn't have to wait even. She took me right in, and it actually turns out that she grew up with the nurse practitioner, the nude practitioner, and she knew her, and so we were chatting about that. And she's from the area that I grew up in, and we're about over an hour and a half away from there. So it's always funny. I've met 2 girls there that I've gone to high school with now, or are from the same area. So I had to pay $50 for the vitamin D test because I had no specific digestive issues or something like that. But going forward, if I am deficient in vitamin D, then I can get retested and I don't have to pay. But I can get it covered with my husband's drug plan and stuff. He has a health account. So yeah, I got all those tests done. I don't know if how it works in anywhere else in the world, but that was all covered. I didn't have to pay anything except for the vitamin D one, only because that's we're just checking it just to be sure. Anyway, I'm gonna head home now, but I just wanted to share this part of it, and I will let you know when I know something.
Saw you paint a picture of a face, a face that wasn't even close to mine. I know I shouldn't be in love, but it's so hard to move on. You haven't changed, you stayed the same. But if you did, I'd still love you anyway. I'd give you the world like I promised I would, even though you wouldn't do the same. I'd give you the world like I promised I would, even though you wouldn't do the same.
Okay, so I've filmed this about 3 times now. This is the 3rd time. My tea is cold, but I feel like I just keep forgetting to say important things. So the last time you saw me, it was Friday, and I was getting my blood work done, and it is now Tuesday. So I was able to see my results as they posted. Each test comes in at a different time, so they were posting at different times. Doesn't matter. Also, if you could hear it in my voice, I'm sick yet again. This is like the third illness that I've had since Christmas. And each one I've just barely, like, I'm still not quite over. I still have a cough, and then I got another cold, and then I had a sinus pressure headache thing going on, and then now I'm sick again. So I got to see my results, and then yesterday my nurse practitioner gave me a call to kind of go over the findings and the results, and the two things that stood out to her. So we tested everything, I think I shared with you, but we tested thyroid function like more in depth than the other one that we had done in June. Cholesterol, iron, B12, vitamin D. I think it's like, I'm not sure if it's blood sugar. I feel like it is something to do with blood sugar. It's something to do with diabetes for sure. And I did a urine test, so that was also a part of it. So she tested my kidneys and liver function. I feel like I'm forgetting some, but it was a lot. Everything came back within normal limits basically, except two things. And there is a third one that I personally would like to get a little bit lower, but she didn't mention it. So the first one is that I am deficient in vitamin D. And for some reason, I don't know why this surprised me. I thought I would be okay on vitamin D, even though I really don't know why, because I can't remember the last time I saw the sun. And if we go outside, it's nighttime. And if I go outside during the day, the only thing that's exposed is my face, but I always wear sunscreen now because that's what you're supposed to do, is wear sunscreen, so you don't age like a raisin. Yeah, I was a little surprised at that. Vitamin D deficiency, the symptoms are as follows: joint pain, exhaustion, weight gain around the belly, and low immunity. So check, 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 and check. So that explains a lot of what I've been feeling lately. I had been supplementing, like I usually in the winter, we all take vitamin D because we know that it's just, we don't get enough in Ontario. Ontario winters are long. We are nowhere near done this. It's snowing again. We have like 4 feet of snow out there. It's just, we're nowhere near done with this nonsense. So yeah, I supplement pretty much every winter. Maybe I haven't been as diligent or consistent with it this year, maybe. So that could be part of it. But yeah, if you're feeling tired and not yourself and all of the things I just mentioned, maybe get your vitamin D levels checked, because I'm glad I paid the extra $50 to get it checked. And the other thing that she found was that my cholesterol, my LDL, it's kind of creeping up where it shouldn't be. So she said they just recently moved the LDL limit from 2.5 to 3.5 as being like at risk or high or whatever. And she said she'd rather see, and mine is like 3.2. So she said she would like to see that down under 2.5, and I fully agree with that, because she said that she doesn't feel that women's cardiovascular health is taken as seriously or treated as aggressively as it should be. And as we get closer to like menopause, it all plays a role. We are more at risk for cardiovascular events. So I really appreciated that she is taking that stance on it. I feel more comfortable with that. My previous nurse practitioner was kind of, she didn't see that because she didn't feel that it was too high. At that time, my total cholesterol was actually like 0.1 over into the high zone, and now it's dropped down like 0.1 or actually 0.3 maybe. So it's a little bit lower. So my total cholesterol is not in the at-risk zone, but my LDL is a little high. So I appreciated that she wants to kind of be proactive about that. So the things that I've been doing since I found out last year to try and lower my cholesterol is taking Metamucil every day, because I've heard that it can reduce cholesterol by a fair amount, or be very effective in lowering cholesterol. And I've been taking omega-3s, and we use a lot of, we use olive oil in most of our cooking, olive oil, basil, olive oil, mayonnaise, things like that. We always use olive oil if we can. It's maybe moved it a little bit. My triglycerides went down, and my LDL did go down a smidge, but not much. And my total went down a smidge because LDL went down a little bit. So, but what will really get the needle moving on lowering my cholesterol is losing weight and changing my diet. I feel grateful that I feel like her and I are maybe more on the same page with it, because of my previous one, and I appreciate her for this. I appreciate what she's trying to do. She was saying, because I was complaining that I had put on 40 pounds, and she was kind of minimizing the fact that I wasn't happy about that. She kind of smoothed over it. And I am saying, my concern was that my blood sugar feels a little bit higher than, on the cusp of being in that riskier bracket. And my cholesterol was high, and I tend to have a little bit high blood pressure. And she was basically saying, no, all of that's fine. All your numbers are fine. There are 2 reasons to lose weight: because you want to, aesthetically feel better, look better in your mind, and to, improve your numbers and your health. And she said, from a numbers standpoint, you're fine. You're healthy, you're fine, everything's good. So if you want to lose weight, you can lose weight. But, and she wasn't really listening to the fact that I couldn't lose weight. I keep doing the things that I have always done in the past to keep my weight down or get my weight down, and they weren't working. In a lot of ways, it's really hard to stay motivated when you're not seeing or feeling the changes. And I'm not afraid to put in the work. I'm not afraid to do a workout. I'm not afraid to go for walks. I'm not afraid to change my diet. I will put in the work, but I want to see something change. And the weight was just not budging. So that was frustrating. And I really appreciated that this new nurse practitioner listened to me and said, if you're not feeling your best, if you're not feeling comfortable, if you're not feeling confident, healthy, and vibrant, then you're not on the right medication, and we need to make some changes. And I appreciated that, because I felt validated, I felt listened to, and I felt like she was being more proactive and listening to the client instead of kind of saying what she felt she was supposed to say, if that makes sense. For a different client, that might be the perfect thing, that might be what they need, but for me, I felt like I need to be in control and do as much as I can to get my numbers where I want them to be. I'm a motivated person because I want to do what I can to be as healthy as I can. So I really appreciated that from this new nurse practitioner. And I told her that at the end. I said, thank you so much. You have given me hope. For the first time in a long time, I feel hopeful. And it's been 2 years, I just have not felt right. And I mean, there have been definitely windows and spaces of time where I have felt better, for sure. In the beginning, my antidepressant really did level things out and really did help me feel better. But like I said, I think earlier in the video, is that I feel like sometimes, at some point, the physical side effects started to cancel out the mental benefits. I hope that makes sense. The physical stuff was starting to take a toll on me. I'm starting to feel that I've been feeling numb and flat and unmotivated and listless. It's really good to know that a big part of that, some part of it, a piece of the puzzle is the vitamin D. So that's an easy fix. I just take my vitamin D every day, just be more consistent with it, and eventually my numbers will come up and I will feel better and all will be well again. I was really relieved to see that my thyroid numbers were fine. I really didn't want there to be a thyroid issue because I've heard a lot of people say that during perimenopause that it has kind of triggered thyroid issues, or Hashimoto's syndrome, I think is what it's called. And so that was kind of worrisome for me, but I wanted to know, obviously. It's been in the back of my mind for probably years now at this point. So I was really relieved to find out that everything's normal, and it was a more in-depth test, so it was kind of a conclusive everything's okay. And then, you know, at the end of the phone call, she said, I think I mentioned this, but in my initial phone appointment with her before I got the blood work done, because I went into the phone call kind of saying, like, thinking it was my IUD causing like a progesterone intolerance or something, that was the issue. And I said, I realized, like, every time I Google it, I realized that this doesn't seem to be a side effect. Like, the weight gain and stuff doesn't seem to be the side effect. A lot of the data says that, you know, weight gain and depression and all that stuff isn't really an issue or a side effect. And I said that to her. I said, I realize that this doesn't make sense, that but it sounds like anecdotally people are struggling with this. So I said, in practice, what do you see? Like, do you have women complaining about these feelings and stuff? And she said, I honestly see a lot more of these complaints coming from people who are on Celexa. So that was kind of like a light bulb went on for me, and I was like, oh my God, yeah, that makes total sense that it could be I'm on the wrong antidepressant. She suggested switching to Wellbutrin, and I was so relieved when she said that, because Wellbutrin is the drug or the antidepressant that I have been wanting to be on since I started researching antidepressants like over 2 years ago. It is the one that sounded like the best fit for me, because even before I went onto the antidepressants, I was feeling unmotivated and kind of listless and low. And Wellbutrin is more of like an activating antidepressant, so it's supposed to help with energy and mood, and it acts on your dopamine versus serotonin. It's supposed to be more weight neutral, and if it does affect your weight, it's usually more of a weight loss, and it's supposed to not have, you know, the effect on the libido. And also, off-label, it is supposed to be good for people with ADHD. And now, I've never been diagnosed with ADHD, and I feel like a lot of people are self-diagnosing a lot these days, but let me tell you, it would explain a lot. In my childhood, I was always the chatty kid getting separated from my group. Yeah, it would explain some things. It explains a lot. So I even though it's kind of off-label for that, I thought possibly it could help me. Maybe help with focus. And she kind of said, well, you know, now that we know that it's vitamin D and everything, it's completely up to you if you still want to switch. And I said, yes, I want to switch, because I have been kind of asking multiple times over the last 2 years to try Wellbutrin, either switch to it or add it into the mix. She doesn't personally want to mix the Celexa with Wellbutrin. She said there are others that she would rather mix it with if necessary, but we'll kind of cross that bridge when we get to it, kind of thing. Hopefully this is just what I need. So she immediately called in my prescription, explained how to taper off of Celexa and go on to the Wellbutrin over the next 2 weeks. So I'm only on 10 milligrams of Celexa, so it's not much of a taper. So I'm hoping that it's like fairly smooth. This morning at about 7:30, 8 o'clock, I took my first dose. I took them together. You're supposed to take Wellbutrin in the morning because it's more energizing and can cause insomnia if you take it at night. So now it's like, what time is it? So it's 1:30 now. I took it at about 7:30. I was a little nervous that I was gonna feel anxious and jittery and like heart racing kind of side effects, but so far I have been feeling pretty level, pretty normal. Yeah, so that's good. I was really nervous. I was worried that I was gonna be like hit overstimulation and like kind of thing. I'm down to about half a coffee a day, even though I don't find coffee really affects me. I can drink a coffee and then take a nap. Like it doesn't give me that jolt, which is supposed to be another ADHD thing too. So maybe this is just what I need. Like maybe this is just the perfect thing for me. But here's hoping. Here's hoping. I think what I'm trying to say is trust yourself. If you think something is wrong, call your doctor, call whoever. I realize it's very different probably in the States, but I'm so glad that I listened to myself and reached out and asked for help. I have made an appointment with my BetterHelp therapist on Thursday because I figured I might need a little help with the switch, but we'll see how it goes. I'm trying to do like a holistic approach. I'm trying to take vitamins and nutrients and things that support my body, like magnesium, etc., the vitamin D. I'm back on to do my workouts. For the last month, I think I haven't been working out because I've been so sick. Hopefully I can get out of this hole and start feeling better. So I started working out again. I've started a different program that I've never actually tried before. It's called Sure Thing. And I'm also eating with the Portion Fix containers. Some of you might be familiar with it. It's from 21 Day Fix Days, because I want to make some changes and I want to do the most that I can do to change these numbers. So I think we're going to retest in like 6 months, 3 to 6 months. I think she said probably 6 months, and check all my numbers again and see how we're progressing. So I basically have 6 months to turn the ship a little bit, and like I really don't want to have to go on statins, so hopefully I can do enough to change it. The containers, maybe I'll put a picture here because I don't want to go dig mine out, but it's basically that you get, you know, a certain number of protein, a certain number of carbs, a certain number of veggies, fruits, healthy fats, seeds and dressing, and then you get a certain number of teaspoons, so for like cooking oil and stuff like that, or peanut butter or whatever. For me, that is the best thing that I can do, because calorie counting is something that it feels easier, but also it doesn't feel easier, because it's I really like that you can just fill this container, throw it in, and not have to count the calories. And there's no container for chips. Like you can, it's not to say that you can never have these things again, but it definitely makes you think about it. And I definitely would never eat this many veggies or this much protein in a day if left to my own devices. So I appreciate the structure of this program, of this kind of way of eating. For me, it's what works, and it's like super high fiber, like you're eating a lot of veggies, a lot of lean protein, less fat. It's not low carb, it's like 40% carbs, so it's not low carb, but it kind of feels like it when you're used to eating carbs like all day every day. But anyway, that's what I'm doing to feel better. So some big changes are happening, and they kind of go hand in hand with our winter arc. The winter arc has kind of veered off. It's gone sideways a little bit just because I have been so sick all winter and just feeling it this winter. But I feel more hopeful than I have felt in a very long time, and I feel like I have a new motivation to make the changes that I need to make. I just wanted to share that. And I feel like sometimes this is oversharing, or that maybe no one cares about this, but then I also think about the emails, even from family members that I had no idea were struggling, you know, opening up about their mental health struggles or their health struggles. And I feel like we really need to talk about this stuff more often. I feel like we need to kind of remove the shame around mental health and antidepressants, speak more openly about it. I think there's still some shame, or still some And it's so silly. Like, I don't agree with it at all. But there is a part of me that feels like maybe I should not talk about this. Or people will find it strange that I talk about it. But if I can encourage one person to follow their gut and call their doctor and get a blood test done, or reach out for help, or ask for therapy, like, job done. I'm happy. So, on that note, I think I will end today's video. It's a bit of a weird one, maybe, not super cozy, but I'm just sharing bits of my life, and this has been, you know, kind of overtaking my mental space this week. So that's what I'm sharing. That's what's happened, so that's what I'm sharing. I think next weekend we might be going to the farm again, so that might be fun. Anyway, if you've watched this far, give me a sunshine emoji, because it's not sunny outside and I can't remember the last time I saw the sun. So give me a sunshine emoji and let me know how you're feeling this winter. How are you feeling? How are you doing? Is it getting on top of you? Are you living your best life? Some of you might be. I'm so happy if you're living your best life. Usually I love winter, but this winter has gotten on top of me and I am not dealing, but I'm pulling myself out. So, but let me know. How are you coping with winter? How are you getting, do you take vitamins and supplements? Do you, like, what do you do? How do you live your best life in winter? What's your secret? Do you go to Florida? Do you go somewhere warm and sunny? Do you go to Spain? I don't know. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like and comment and subscribe because it helps so much. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.